Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Lowdown with Princess Skywalker. I am your host, Princess Skywalker, aka Jessie B. Joining me again this week, I've got my co-host, John Anthony from Chairshot Sports here. How you doing tonight, John?
Good. How you doing, Jesse?
Doing great. It's been a long day. I know it's been a long day for you, so let's jump right in and get started. We are going to
Sounds good.
go over AEW Dynamite's episode from last night. Very weird episode, very interesting episode. And then we are going to give our predictions for WrestleDream this weekend. So on a title Tuesday, they didn't have a lot of titles on the line, nor did they have a lot of matches. That's the only thing I can really say about AEW's Title Tuesday yesterday. Is there was a lot of promos. A lot of promos.
A lot of promos.
A lot of promos. So we started out the night with a promo. A Jon Moxley promo. Jon Moxley says that nobody wanted to take Bryan out and he's the only one who can do it. Says Bryan doesn't like embracing his dark side, but on Saturday he will do it anyways. It was an interesting promo. I mean, Jon Moxley promos are always good. It was a good promo to start the show off. What did you think?
No, it was good. Again, talking cryptic. We've talked about it. I think there's a higher power here. If you guys get the reference back in the day to Shane's old man. But yeah, I think he says, the fact that he needs to win the belt not for him, not for anyone else, but for AEW. And just the match, just the cryptic, the way that he's talking, I think it's just going to be really, really cool when he wins this belt and kind of like the big reveal comes of what this group's actual meaning and what their purpose there being on the roster is. I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. There's, like I said, Jon Moxley can't really put on a bad promo. So it'll be interesting to see what happens on Saturday and see how this evolves into what's going on there. Then we cut to a Danielson promo. So promo number 2 of the night, and we're already into the show, barely 10 minutes. He says that he'll run through Claudio and Pac tonight. I wasn't really paying much attention. Bryan Danielson kind of bores me. So I only caught bits and pieces of it. So if you caught more than I did.
No, same thing. It was just like one of those things where I'm trying to write stuff down about the promo from before it. And he kind of just says the same thing every time. He's like, put anyone in front of me. I'm going to go through. I'm going to be able to, no matter what you bring, I'll win. And that everyone doubts him and that he's going to come out on top and just keep wrestling. So, typical face stuff, being the champion and having to be over as the top guy. Pretty much saying the same thing over and over and over again, just kind of inserting different names. But I mean, yeah, like you said, Bryan Danielson kind of gets it, just kind of like the peanut want the same stuff over and over and over again. Definitely does more better work in the ring deals on the mic, but yeah.
Holy shit, I just checked my inbox on Twitter and I have something to tell you after we get off and done here. You people aren't allowed to know, but
yeah,
I know something.
Great.
That's exciting.
Awesome. Good stuff.
I will say that Nyla Rose did just follow me on Twitter, so that's pretty fucking awesome.
Hey. So, damn, Nyla.
Pretty fucking awesome right there.
All right.
So awesome. Anyways, I totally digress because that just totally fucking distracted the shit out of me. Anyways, let's get back into it. Sorry, that was a moment there. Regularly scheduled programming, ADHD moment. Back to where we're supposed to be. So then we went into another promo. Darby Allin comes out and cuts a promo on Brody King. Apparently, Brody King has answered his open challenge for WrestleDream. This is going to be a good match. It's kind of a David versus Goliath match. The little guy versus the big guy. I love Darby Allin. He's fantastic. He can put on a show. Like Brody King said, he's got a death wish. So you never know what he's going to do or when he's going to do it. So him and Brody King exchanged words. They got pretty personal.
Yeah.
It's revealed that Darby got Brody hired in AEW, or was a part of getting Brody hired into AEW. Then they start having a back and forth, and Darby hits Brody with a rock and busts his mouth open. So that was a good promo. I loved it. But I love Darby Allin. So it's hard to hate Darby Allin.
Just a little biased. A little biased.
Yeah, just a little bit, but he's great.
No,
I look forward to that match.
Yeah, no, I love Darby Allin. I think he's awesome. I love what he does in the ring. He's almost like not comparing the two by any means, but if you had to find a comparison, definitely like the AEW version of like a Jeff Hardy. You know what I mean? Like he's good, man. Yep. He does everything he has to do. Aerial, outside the ring, inside the ring. He's great. This match, I'm excited for it. It's going to be good. Like both guys can go. Brody can go. Obviously, Darby can go. I just don't know what they're doing with Darby. I feel like they kind of took him out of that number one contender spot way too quick after earning that. Obviously, never being champion before.
I agree.
AEW champion. And I understand what they're trying to do. But I feel like I hope after this match, we kind of get him in a direction. It's not just kind of open challenges and meandering around, fighting random dudes. Like I get it this time, the open challenge, because he's, the way he's upset about losing the contender spot. I get it. But I hope after this, we kind of move into something else and, get him into a storyline, because we're getting to the time of year where the calendar turns in 2025 and we're on the road to Revolution. So, and I would love to see him get AEW championship gold sooner rather than later. So, but that's just me. But it's going to be a great match. I agree.
It's going to be a great match. Who knows that Moxley doesn't win on Saturday, and then that sets up something between him and Darby. Yeah. Darby coming back for his spot. Darby coming back to try and get what was promised to him that he lost. So who knows? That's just something that popped into my head, while we're sitting here talking about it. So, then we cut to an interesting segment. It was the Jake Roberts and Don Callis trade for Lance Archer.
Wild.
Very weird.
Yeah.
Very just thrown in there. And from what I understand, they had some travel issues because of the hurricane. Mm-hmm. So they had to kind of redo things from what I from what I hear. I may be talking out of my ass and just believing shit that I see on the internet, but that's what I thought I had seen. So who knows if they were just throwing shit together, but that was a very interesting thing. Lance Archer going to the Don Callis family. It's a very interesting position for him. Maybe they need an enforcer. They don't really have one per se in the Don Callis family. So maybe that's why they're bringing Lance Archer in. I like him, the Murder Hawk. He's great. He does a really good job of entertaining the crowd and bringing the crowd to him. They love him. He just doesn't really get pushed very often. But in that deal, Jake the Snake didn't know who he was getting. So Don Callis was getting Lance Archer, and Jake said his trade was a surprise. So that was something we had to find out later.
Which we do.
So that's 4 promos so far, and we still haven't had a match.
Yep. I was going to say it's still been a lot of talking.
Still a lot of talking. So then we cut to another mini promo with Daniel Garcia. He says he's going to discuss his future out in the ring. So we anticipate hearing from him later on in the show. Now we have our first match of the night. We have Hologram versus Commander. Now the crowd the whole night sucked. They were terrible. They were flat. They weren't engaged. They weren't, I don't know. It was something about the crowd that made it difficult because they had no energy.
I agree.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
Because that was a great match.
Yeah, those guys always go. Even when Mercedes came out later on, like it was flat. It was very
totally flat.
Yeah. Very like engaging with the, which is very, very rare for AEW crowd. Like they're very usually, at least with the top stars, they're chanting, they're, you know, whatever, whether it's Swerve, whether it's Mercedes, they're always doing something. It's just, it was very, very unpredictably like flat. Like they were not interested whatsoever. It was wild to me. Wild stuff.
It was crazy because Hologram and Commander was a good match. Hologram won, so I believe he's 14-0 now.
One with the helicopter spin.
Yep, 14-0. He won over Commander. It was a lucha match. It was very high paced, very high energy. Definitely a typical lucha style match. And then with Hologram, like I said, getting the win. Then Roosh and Beast Mortos and the other guy, which I wasn't familiar with, attacked Hologram and Commander. From what I saw today, that set up a match at WrestleDream between Hologram and Beast Mortos. So they will be in a 2 out of 3 falls match at WrestleDream, which is interesting. I understand they have history because Beast Mortos keeps attacking Hologram after his matches, but I think it's just thrown together another match to throw on the card, in my opinion.
I think they threw that together. I think it's going to be the 0 hour. I don't think it's going to make the main card. I think they needed. I know right now the Ring of Honor the television title is going to be on the line at 0 hour, so they probably added this 2 out of 3 falls for another match for the crowd, obviously, to have and kind of get them amped up for the main card to come down the pike after that.
Yep. And with this attack, it's really appears that the trade was Roosh and the other two to Jake the Snake Roberts. So again, interesting pairing. Maybe it's more of like they needed to get a mentor in with them to help guide them a little bit more. Maybe that's what they're looking for here, but it's an interesting pairing. I don't quite understand it, but hey, I'm not writing this shit and I'm not getting paid for this shit. I'm just watching it. So what the fuck do I know?
We're gonna watch it and talk about it, man. That's all we do.
I just watch it and talk about it and pull shit out of my ass. That's what I do.
Yep.
So that was different. Then we get a flashback to Jericho, which, fucking Jericho. Every damn week we gotta see Jericho. I get it. The guy's a legend. He's done everything that you could possibly do.
Everything.
There's nothing else everywhere. He could do.
Yeah. The guy has his own cruise, man. I mean, come on.
Right. Which might be kind of fun to go on one day.
I would love to.
From what I hear from my heels calls, it's really, really fun.
Yeah,
so
I don't doubt it in the least.
So I think cruises are fun anyways. I'm going on one in 2 weeks as long as Mother Nature in the Gulf of Mexico calms her tits.
Keep your fingers and toes crossed.
Well, from what I know, it's not hitting Miami, nor is it hitting towards the Bahamas. So might be okay.
Here's
hoping. Please.
Keep hoping.
Anyways, so flashback to Jericho segment from last week with Jay's the comment about Jay Briscoe saying that his brother could beat him, and he'll never be as good as his brother was. So Jericho getting that real heat, he's good at that, getting heat. Yep. Mark Briscoe actually does a very serious promo for once. You can understand what he's saying.
Yeah, took his time with this one.
Took his time, really, was a great promo. He says he's going to hurt Jericho, which I hope that that's the case, but we'll talk about my predictions later. Because you just never know when you got Chris Jericho into a match.
That is true.
Are they going to make him Nueve?
Oh, God, I hope not. Man, stay the Ocho, man. Stay the Ocho. Though Briscoe's held on to that belt for a long time. Like he kind of is doing give it up, and it's to somebody. It might be Jericho. I don't know, but I'll save that for the
Yeah.
predictions.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm going with it too, but we'll save that for later.
Awesome.
So then we've got another promo.
Shocker.
Imagine that. Another promo. And this is the Daniel Garcia promo. He comes in, he's real serious, kind of not knowing where he's going to go with this, making it seem like we not know where he's going to go with this. Then he says he's not going anywhere. He's staying where the best wrestle, and he's staying in AEW, which I think is fantastic for AEW.
It's good for AEW. I don't know if it's good for Daniel Garcia, but that's just my opinion. I don't know. If anything, how they used him this past run with his last contract has anything to do with anything, I really hope Tony steps him into some. I'm not saying he needs to be a world champion off the bat, but they need to feature that man more. I mean, he was out there dancing, making his own, getting over organically with the fans when they had nothing for him. I mean, people are doing the dance. Tony's doing a dance with them after the cameras go off the air. I really hope they use him better with this contract. And good on Garcia, man. Getting paid, getting the bag. I'm happy for him. He's happy where he is, and that's all that matters. You're happy to go to work wherever you're wrestling. I really hope to his like credit, and it's fair to him. I really hope they use him a little bit more and better in some more spots and more consistently on weekly TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Definitely want him to get featured more, get him pushed. He's a good superstar. He's one of the young original guys from, that have been there forever. So it's somebody that you really want to see succeed, you want to see progress, and you want to see push in the main event scene. Not necessarily at the World Heavyweight Championship, but hey, have him against Jack Perry. That would be a phenomenal match.
Book it.
Him and Jack Perry. That would be a phenomenal match. I would love to see that match. It would be freaking fantastic.
You could main event a PLE pay-per-view with that, let alone Dynamite. You could definitely put that as a main event, man. That would be, especially with some kind of weird stipulation. Those two guys are willing to go the distance when they're in matches. Would slap. That would be fire match. A fire match. 5 stars.
Yeah, that would be I would love to see that. Then we get a Swerve video package. He's returning at WrestleDream. After that, we shift to MVP versus Shelton Benjamin, which is what's interesting is what I saw Swerve posted on X was that he was ready to talk business. So, hinting more towards the Hurt Locker or whatever they're calling it.
The Hurt Syndicate.
Hurt Syndicate. There we go. Yeah, whatever they're calling it.
That's what they got trademarked. So, no, I think that's good, man. I like how they're. And the funny thing is, like, let's tiptoe around, like, kind of like, and that's what MVP is so good at, and whoever else is creative with this. Let's keep using the business moniker because obviously that's what people know them as is the Hurt Business. But obviously, when they do debut, I think it's going to be Swerve, it's going to be Shelton, it's going to be Powerhouse Hobbs. It's going to be the Hurt Syndicate, and that's also going off of what Swerve used to have with the Syndicate. So I think it's all going to just ravel itself with him joining up and combining the two names. It's going to be awesome. I think that faction. Yeah. 2025 is going to be the year of factions for AEW and really put them on the map. Whereas you've seen NWO, DX, Evolution kind of take over and help boost ratings. You're going to see the faction that Shane O'Mac or Mox will be leading, and then this new one with MVP. And it's so good because there's so many notable names that people WWE or AEW know that will tune in and watch those guys because they're big over and they're big fan favorites. I'm telling you, they do it right. 2025 is going to be a banner year for Tony Khan.
Absolutely, and it'll be interesting to see how they debut Bobby Lashley too. Do they bring him in this weekend, or do they bring him in next week?
I think you got a whole. I think like it's one of those things where, obviously, I don't know if you watched a lot of how they did it with the NWO with Scott Hall and Kevin Nash kept talking about the big guy. I think Swerve needs to come on board. Keep talking about this big member. You're like, oh, here we go, and it's Powerhouse Hobbs. And then you're like, oh, okay, that's the guy. That's not the guy. You thought that was the guy, but the actual guy is Bobby Lashley and debut him later down the road. I think either Full Gear or it escapes me. I forgot what they do in January and February before Revolution. I forgot what that pay-per-view is. But whatever.
Winter's coming. Is that the one they usually do?
That might be. Yeah, that might be it. I think so. That might be I don't know. There might be a Dynamite show too. I don't know. But there's one.
It is a Dynamite show.
Okay, yeah, I don't think they're going to wait till Revolution to bring Bobby out because the cat's out of the bag. Everyone knows he's signed. Like, well, how long are we going to wait?
Yep.
But I think, a couple more months, I think it's going to be perfect. And it's going to, like I said, they do it right. They time it right with the right people and have them feud with the right wrestlers. Cinema. It's going to be great.
Absolutely. Totally agree. And then we cut to a Mercedes Moné promo with Renee trying to do the intro that Mercedes usually does. And Mercedes coming in, rolling her eyes, doing her thing. Didn't pay much attention to this promo. I hate it. I don't want to be a hater. I don't want to be a damn hater. Yeah, I don't want to be a hater
because I took my goldfish for a walk. That was it.
Because she is loved and people do really like her, and it's just a matter of opinion. And I don't want to say she's a bad performer because when she's in the ring, she can go.
Mm-hmm.
It's the mic skills I don't like. I don't like the Valley Girl voice, but I don't want to hate on people, so I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that YouTuber.
Yeah.
I don't want to be that YouTuber that trashes people because fuck, I couldn't do it. I couldn't get up in front of these people and freaking put on a promo. I'd be terrified. I'd be tripping over my words. I wouldn't know what to say. So props to them for doing it. It's just a matter of opinion, I guess, on what you like and what you don't like.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, I liked her WWE and everything, but just mic work is definitely her biggest opportunity wherever she goes. So hopefully she works on
it. But she's a great performer in the ring. She puts on great matches.
Yeah.
When she's in there, she bangs.
Yeah. It's just the mic. I'm telling you, it's when it's on the mic. Just
forget
having a bodyguard. She should have a mouthpiece. Let's do that. Let's work on that and just have her wrestle and focus on that.
Exactly.
Yes.
So we get our second match of the night now, which was Willow versus Jamie Hayter versus Saraya versus Nyla Rose. Fantastic match. Definitely a good match to put together at the last minute since Britt Baker couldn't make it due to illness, or I think they said she was sick, so she couldn't make it. So it was a good match to put together in replacement of that. I love Jamie Hayter. She's fantastic.
Yep.
I love this new 70s Austin Powers vibe she's got going on with her outfits and everything. Yep. Like Mariah May was calling her Daphne last night. Said she was dressed like Daphne from Scooby-Doo.
Yep. I like that. That was good.
I loved it. Willow is such a great performer. Like I adore her. Like from having her on Heels calls, she's just such a sweet person. I adore her.
I love Willow.
Nyla Rose has been on Heels calls before too, and she's fantastic. Like she's so funny. Like her tweets are just hilarious. I'm so excited she followed me. Yay!
That's awesome, man. Good for you. That's amazing when that happens. Good.
I freaking love it. It's so awesome. Saraya was just kind of thrown into this match too. Harley Cameron got really involved because it was a 4-way match. There was no disqualification. Nyla Rose took a nasty fall off of the top turnbuckle onto the ring apron directly in the middle of her back. That was a rough spot. I hope, she's okay. She heals up quickly. She told me earlier today she has a boo-boo because I tweeted her to ask her if she was okay, and she said she had a boo-boo. So, that was a nasty fall. We didn't see much of her after that.
Right. Yeah. Understandably so. I mean, that was probably definitely hurt pretty good, I would imagine.
Horror Wrestling says Nyla is a menace on Twitter. she
really is,
especially when it comes to the King Serpentico.
She kills me on Twitter, man. Some of the stuff she puts up, like, dude, come on, what are we doing? It's awesome. I love it.
Yeah, it's so funny. It's so funny. Anyways, digressing one more time. So the winner of that match was Willow Nightingale. I think that was going to be the plan against Britt Baker. Anyways, I like that. They had set it up the week before, so why would she not win? after they set it up last week. But I love her. I love that she's getting all of this attention. I love that they're pushing her. I love that she keeps getting all these title shots because she's great. She deserves them. She's a young, bright talent, and she does deserve everything that she's getting. So I love it. What do you think?
No, I agree. I'm wholeheartedly. I love Willow. I've seen her here in Worcester, down at the White Eagle when she's in town. She comes down. They talk about it. I make sure I get tickets, take work off, and go see her. Awesome to see her perform in person. She's a great takes the time after the matches, talks to people, high five, the pictures, the whole nine. She's great in the ring. She's great on the mic. She's come a long way since first starting with AEW, and I think she's definitely be a top tier talent moving forward for a few years to come.
Yep, I totally agree. She's got a very bright future ahead of her. So then we cut to another promo segment, which was a Chris Jericho segment. They go back, they talk some smack to Rocky Romero, tell him his friends don't respect him. Kind of got up and took the dogs out, so I don't really know what happened after that. But it looks like it set up a match on Rampage against the real
Bad
funny
Apple.
guy, the Bad Apple. Yeah, I forgot his name. And respect Chris Jericho.
I love it, man. I love it. Yeah, he pretty much just bashed best friends, and then that's pretty much the setup. That was it, and they kind of stared each other off. He walked away, and then they set the match up. So that was that. Nice little quick little 3-minute promo, promo number 6 of the night.
Promo number 6 of the night. Was it 6? I think it was more than that. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9,
was it really?
10, 11. It was promo number 11.
Oh man! What? Oh jeez! I was trying to be nice.
It was very promo centric. It was Talking Tuesday.
I'm gonna guess that probably there was either I know they said Britt was sick. There had to have been some travel issues with the hurricane. This much
there had to have been.
I know they do a lot of talking. Tony's never had this much especially on a Dynamite, on a different, maybe because it was on a different night. He didn't want to showcase a lot of stuff, thinking people either watch NXT or aren't going to know that enough people know that they move over to Tuesday. I don't know, but there was but the stuff that they talked about, it wasn't like just promos and promo. It was like Daniel Garcia announcing his new contract. Like that needs to be talked about and showcased. Like make sure people see that. You know what I mean? So yeah, that's 11th promo. Wow. That's a lot of promos.
11th promo of the night. Yep.
Woo! Talking Tuesday.
Kind of crazy. So then we had a Jay White squash match. Jay White versus a nobody. He actually did pretty decent against Jay White. They set that up pretty decently.
Yeah.
And then he calls out Hangman Page at WrestleDream. I'm looking forward to that match.
That's going to be a good match. Yep.
That is going to be a very, very good match. So I look forward to that. Anybody that says, where's the story? The story is that Hangman put Jay White out. There's your fucking story. What more do you need?
Hey, listen, they're doing exactly what everyone's been giving them crap about for years that WWE's been doing, long-term storytelling. If you don't watch the product, again, it's the same thing I say about WWE. You got to watch the product before you can talk about it. Yep. So before you say AEW isn't doing long-term storytelling, watch the product and you'll understand who took who out and why they're coming back and they're feuding. So I totally agree. I think they're definitely putting 2 and 2 together and figuring it out. So I'm excited for that match. It's going to be a good one on Saturday.
Definitely. I'm super excited for that one. Tank had to come make his debut there. Hook calls out whoever attacked his father, and then magically Christian Cage shows up, tells him he's sorry about his father. So setting that up even more so that it was Christian that attacked his father.
And also too, man, shout out to Taz, man. He put it on Twitter today. He requested room 13. They gave him room 18, but he's recovering nicely from his full knee replacement surgery. So hopefully Taz is back behind the announce booth sooner than later. So, but yeah, But good to use real life to use this kind of angle, though. I think Christian Cage and Hook, that match slaps. I think that's a really good match for both of those guys.
Definitely, it's going to elevate Hook even more. It's a good opponent for him to go against to get that elevation factor. So I'm excited for it. I like Hook. They haven't done much to see with him, but it looks like, like Kicking Out at 2 just said, it's nice to see some fire with Hook too. So get a little steam underneath him. It's not just about the FTW belt. It's about more. It's substance. Yeah. It's giving him a place within the locker room. Not within the locker room, but within the story.
No, I mean, one goes in the same, I guess. Once you start getting your storylines, obviously you get somewhere in the hierarchy of whether you are in the locker room as a veteran, aside from being a rookie too. So, but I think I don't know. I think they didn't know what to do with Hook for a little bit. They had, obviously the FTW belt. They had a couple different personas. He had the beanie on, didn't really talk, eating the chips. Then they put him with Samoa Joe. Like, are they going to tag team? Then he always over here. So it's good to see, like I said, I agree with that. It's good to see him kind of just coming to his own, having that fire, kind of calling guys out, and just see him, and especially with Christian Cage, that's going to be a main event level program. It's good to see him with someone like Christian. I think that's really, like you said, it's going to elevate Hook. And Hook obviously has a phenomenal pedigree with Taz. Learning from one of the best who did it the best over in ECW and WWE. So I have big hopes and plans for Hook. Very excited.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep.
So getting back Mariah May for attacking her after the match, Willow attacks Mariah May and calls her shot at WrestleDream. Says she is going to take out Mariah May. I liked seeing a little bit of ruggedness in Willow. Seeing that fire underneath her, seeing her get really ready to go for this match. It was a good lead into their match on Saturday.
No, I agree. I'm pumped for it. Willow will always be the one who smiles and is laughing, having a great time. But as you've seen in some other matches with Mercedes and obviously with Statlander, like when she needs to get dirty, down and dirty, she'll do it. And she does it very well. So I'm very, very excited for that match. I don't think it's a prop match. I think it's just straight up one-on-one.
Yep.
But yeah, I think it's going to be a great match. Both those girls go. We'll save the prediction for when we start talking about that. But regardless of whoever does win or lose that match, it's going to be phenomenal.
It's going to be a good match, definitely. Then we got another promo. Stokely Hathaway approaches Private Party. Private Party declines. Says they want to be on their own. They want to do this on their own against the Young Bucks on Saturday. Where the hell did I get the Hardys from?
It's been a while for that.
Hardy. Maybe that's why. But he was with the Hardys for a long time. So the one of them was. He was with Matt Hardy for a really long time. So
with Matt for a little bit, yeah.
I
don't know. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I think saying no to Stokely is not going to bode well for them when Saturday comes around, because I think he's going to end up finding another team that might interfere in that match. But I like Private Party, man. I've liked them ever since they made their debut. But another team I felt like has never really gotten their time to really shine. They're great in the ring. They're great on the mic. It's good to see them having talking time in the ring. That's awesome to see. They're cutting promos in the back. Good to see. I think they're a really good team. We'll see what happens on Saturday. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
And there was a couple of tag team promos last night, which brings back to something we were talking about a couple of weeks ago on one of the shows about how their tag team division has been lackluster. So maybe they're trying to get that energy back within the tag team division again and get it going by starting to promote more tag teams than just the Acclaimed, the FTR, and the Young Bucks.
No, I agree. I mean, you got the Outrunners. You got those guys. They're hot. The throwback 80s guys. They have a lot of tag teams. And I think they, like you said, we talked about it. They need to showcase more tag wrestling. I feel like tag wrestling's kind of, I guess, dying out. People don't want to see that. They want to see the one-on-one, the 5-star matches, the Ospreys and the Ricochets. But tag team wrestling, man, when you find two good tag teams that can really tell the story and can go in the ring, it's such you watch in awe, and it's just so great to see and watch that match.
Yeah, Absolutely. I totally agree. There's, we came from an era where tag team wrestling was really pushed. The
Yeah.
TLC era, the tables, ladders, and chairs era,
Yes.
the Edge and Christian, the Hardy Boys, the Dudleys. So we grew up with a really strong, the Headbangers, even with a very strong tag team division. So that's just not something we're not used to seeing.
Yeah, he was hoping that kind of moves its way back and the pendulum moves in the opposite direction. They end up going back to that and people actually take to it. So, because I think it'd be really awesome. And like I said, there's a lot of tag teams out there that should really, really get showcased and get some time in that ring because they are awesome and phenomenal.
For sure. Totally agree there. So then we got the Will Ospreay promo, calls out Don Callis. Don Callis admits that he sent Takeshita out to attack Ospreay, which, of course, we all knew was the case. Ospreay tells Don that he doesn't know shit. Takeshita attacks him. Oh, yeah. Absolutely love that. Takeshita attacks him. Fletcher's conflicted. So Ricochet actually comes out and saves Will.
Which is wild stuff when Ricochet comes out. Like, what are we doing? This is awesome, especially going into the triple threat on Saturday. It was awesome stuff. Like, of all people, it's got to be Ricochet. It was awesome to see.
Yeah, absolutely. I had to get this big dummy to stop barking at the puppies outside. There's these little, like, 9-week-old golden retrievers out there, and this big dingus likes to bark at these poor little things.
Okay, he's like our official.
You see mascot. How big he is?
He's little guys. He's like our official mascot.
All right. Yep. All right, buddy. Come on. Mommy's busy. I love you, but go away. All right. So that was definitely different. That Ricochet came out and saved Ospreay. Even Ospreay didn't know how to feel about it. Kyle Fletcher was conflicted about which side he should choose. I honestly think that ultimately Kyle Fletcher is going to choose in favor of Will Ospreay. They have so much history. And he's a good face.
Mm-hmm.
So I'd hate to see him turn heel.
Yeah, me too. Like, I really hope it's not a way of maybe something happens this weekend. I don't want to get into the whole prediction thing, but I really hope he doesn't go the heel route and you think he's always going to help him and cost him something. You know what I mean? I love Fletcher being and again, great tag teams, right? Those guys can go. They're amazing in the ring. Those guys have been doing it for a long time, and they're amazing.
The chemistry.
Absolutely. They share a brain. Absolutely. You can see in their moves. They don't even need to look at each other. They know what the other one's going to do.
Yeah, that match against the Young Bucks was great.
Yes, absolutely. I really hope they keep those two together, but who knows? Again, we don't write this shit, right? I don't know. Maybe
I don't know.
Needs to be in the Dallas family for a little bit, and then eventually maybe he turns from the inside. I don't know, but it's definitely going to be interesting. And again, I'm with you. I really hope he sides with Ospreay at the end.
Yep, totally agree with that. We got another tag team promo. We got a Top Flight promo. Looks like they're starting to descend away from Action Andretti a little bit.
That was a weird promo. It was
a very weird promo. It was definitely something that they just threw on there to fill up time. That was one that you could tell that they just came up with at the last minute. It was just like, hey, let's throw them into the mix here.
We got an extra 20. We got an extra 10 minutes. Let's throw those ladies on real quick.
Let's just throw this in there super fast.
Yeah, for real.
Jack Perry cuts a great promo towards Shibata. Says he wants violence. He wants to see the violent Shibata. He wants to see, the one that goes. So I am looking forward to that match. It's going to be a really good match. We'll get into my predictions for that later, but I am looking forward to it. What about you?
No, it's the same. I'm looking forward to it. We talked about the other day where we want to see a little bit different side of Shibata. I think it's going to be awesome to see him go with, especially with Jack Perry. Like he's awesome. He's been getting amazing in the ring ever since he's come back with the scapegoat gimmick. I think the match is going to be awesome. I think it's going to be great. Hopefully we get a lot of violence out of it, which never disappoints for the sickos of AEW. So I'm excited for it.
Yeah, I'm here for it too. I love watching Jack Perry. I don't care what anybody says. Jack Perry is fucking phenomenal.
No, I agree.
His mic skills
he gets a bad rap because of one Bill Phil.
Yeah. Fucking Phil.
Fucking Phil.
I gotta throw a fucking Phil in almost every episode.
Well, I know if I bring him up, I'm gonna get a fucking Phil from you. That's
You're
why
gonna get a fucking Phil. It's gonna happen. You just know it's gonna happen every single time. So then we get to the main event, which was Bryan Danielson and Yuta versus Claudio and Pac. It was a great match, of course. Definitely didn't disappoint. We knew it was going to be a great match. The 4 competitors in the ring are phenomenal, so there was no way that it wasn't going to be a good match. Moxley comes out and distracts Danielson. Pac grabs a hammer and Yuta stops him. Now, I thought when Yuta got that hammer that he was going to be turning.
Same.
I thought the heel turn was imminent.
Like, oh, here it comes. Yep.
And they didn't have him do it. So I'm interested to see if perhaps it... Never mind. We'll get into that later.
Don't do it. Wait for the prediction. Wait for it.
Wait for that. But the winners of that match were Danielson and Yuta. Mox and Danielson fight. Everybody else fights.
Yep.
And they end the show on that.
Yeah.
So it was a very promo-centric show. There was probably 15, 16 promos and 4 matches. So that's my only bitch about the show, is that there wasn't enough wrestling on a wrestling show. But
go ahead.
If they had the travel issues that, I was hearing about, then it's understandable.
No, I agree. It's just, if you're going to tote it a Title Tuesday, and he went hard, like Tony he hasn't been on TikTok in 2 years. And Tony went on to TikTok and talk about this Title Tuesday. Obviously talking about the 4-way match with Britt Baker, sick and not being able to attend. It was just like, this was just too much talking for me, man. If don't make it Title Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like we had, where the title matches. It's almost like, it's like having a battle for the belt and having one belt on the line. It was wild to see it. Then again, I agree. It was one of my only bitch. My only bitch is, I think, I don't mind the promos if there was issues, but it's what was being said in the promos. Like, the Daniel Garcia thing. That's something you save. That's something you save for next week. You save that for next week. You have him open the show with that. You tease it. You like doing announcements, tease the special announcement and have him come out, and that's where he announces it. Don't do it on a Tuesday going up against NXT, who obviously they're stacking the house in St. Louis. And obviously you're on a different times, different day. You know how many people? I think you even forgot and AEW was on last night. And you watch AEW.
Yeah.
So it's like, for people, it's like, that's my only thing. I just think it was poorly written in the matter of what the content that was on there definitely need to be seen by the fans, and definitely need to be on mainstream to hit Twitter, to hit all the socials. But other than that, promos were good. They got across what they needed for WrestleDream. And I mean, the matches that were on there were good. So yeah,
it was definitely a lot of build. It got done what it needed to get done. It just wasn't enough wrestling for me.
Yeah, agreed.
I'm not used to AEW putting on so few matches.
Yeah, I agree. That was definitely, it's been a long time because, obviously a lot of people, they time how much wrestling and how much talking is on all the shows. And this is the first time I think AEW's had this much talking in a long, long time. So,
which could be why the ratings were so low, because there was so much talking.
I think it was, I think it was the night, the talking. Obviously, maybe people tuned out. They were like, all right, whatever. It's the second week is NXT's on CW. First 2-3 weeks, people are going to tune in. Obviously, they had Randy Orton. They brought some of the main roster guys. Jey Uso was on. People are tuning in to see that. I know Sexy Red probably wasn't the big draw over there, but yeah, they had a good card over there. NXT, they put up good cards. But like I said, I think it's just the night. I think there's a reason why Tony was going to TikTok and to Twitter. Like, people they didn't get out enough. They had to be put over to Tuesdays, and it just lost some viewership there. But I'm sure they'll bounce back next week.
Yeah. Especially also, with it being after the pay-per-view. That too, yeah. Obviously your show after is always going to be higher. But that's the thing. Usually their go-home shows are they slap. They're fire. They're really good. It's the first time in a long time an AEW show before the pay-per-view has been kind of meh. Lackluster. Yeah. And also too, it's just, I don't know. It could be travel issues too. People like not having a lot of marquee matches on there. So it could be a lot of things, but it's weird. Yeah. It wasn't terrible, but it wasn't their best go home show.
Yeah. They've had a couple. They're due for a dud. It's okay. And not for nothing to the audience in attendance too.
The audience sucked.
Well, it's also probably one of the lowest gates they've had in history, which sucks for AEW. I don't know if it's the town or whatnot. I don't know if it's just a bad.
I think it's the town.
It was a bad week. Everyone has them. WWE has them. AEW has them. TNA has them. Everyone has a bad week. I think this is just a bad week for them. Like you said, after the pay-per-view next week, sure they'll bounce back. Going into full gear, they'll be fine.
Yeah. I read somewhere that WWE has done their lowest attendance was there in that arena.
Yep.
It was at Spokane. Yep. And they've never gone back.
Nope. No.
So clearly there's a reason for that. Maybe it's just because there's not a lot of wrestling fans in Spokane. I mean, who knows?
Hopefully Tony crosses that city off the list. Don't go.
Yeah. He needs to come back to Colorado. I love going to the shows. I always have to drive like an hour and a half, 2 hours to see the shows though, because they're never at the Pepsi Center. They're always all the way up in Loveland or down in Colorado Springs, and I have to drive like an hour and a half, 2 hours to go see them.
Yeah,
I do it.
He's popping up everywhere here. He's popping up everywhere here in New England. He's going to be in New Hampshire. They just held Collision in Springfield. He's in Connecticut. He loves the Northeast. He says, I mean, I'm sure he goes up to every show and says it's the best town to be in, but he says it all the time. Like people have shown that he loves the Northeast because obviously we're very rich up here. Like, the starting of WWE and WWF, like the Northeast, we are crazy wrestling fans up here. So
yep.
Yeah, he's up here a lot. Yeah.
Makes sense. I've been to every show but one that they've had in Colorado. So, and that was the very first show that they had when AEW very first started.
Nice.
So, all right. So now we get into WrestleDream.
All right.
And the WrestleDream predictions.
Cool.
Let's see. Where do I want to start? I'm going to start at the bottom of my list and work my way up.
Just going to start with 0 hour?
Yeah, so let's start with Hologram and Beast Mortos. I think it's a hologram win.
Hologram win. Absolutely. Absolutely. There's no reason to break the streak. When that streak gets broken, they're doing that for a reason. When that streak gets broken, it's going to be for a reason. So, but I think, 50-0. Boom. Win out. Absolutely. Especially on 0 hour. If he's going to take it out, it's going to be on like Dynamite, big match, or on a pay-per-view. So, yeah, I agree.
And who knows? We still have Rampage and Collision, I think, before the pay-per-view. So there could even be more matches added to 0 hour.
Yeah, they've added a couple in the past like week and a half. So like they had a card, then they updated the card, then they updated again. I was like, then they had the Brian Cage. I'm like, okay, let's go. So more matches, the better.
Yep. Next one I've got written down here is Jack Perry and Shibata. I think it's going to be a phenomenal match. I do think Jack Perry retains, though.
Yeah, Jack Perry, man. Jack Perry all the way. But again, it's going to be a good match. I think this is where you kind of see Shibata go back to like more of that menacing, kind of more violent kind of wrestler, getting out of that the phone shtick thing going on. But again, anytime Jack Perry's in the ring for me, it's going to be a great match. He brings a lot of charisma into those matches and in the ring. He's a great seller too. He really, I think he's one of the more underrated sellers. And you guys can give me heat for that if you want. I mean, if that's your opinion, but watch his matches. Like he's a great seller. He does a great job at it and definitely puts a lot of guys over with their moves. So I appreciate that as a wrestling fan. So but yeah, I agree. Jack Perry definitely walks away and retains his title on this one.
For sure. We're going to keep going with that streak of Jack Perry. I think, since with the conversation that happened between Daniel Garcia and Shibata, as Daniel Garcia was coming back, there's a potential that afterwards Daniel Garcia could be going for that TNT title. That's why I mentioned I'd love to see Jack Perry versus Daniel Garcia. I think that would be a phenomenal match.
I agree. Absolutely.
Next match here is the Ospreay versus Ricochet versus Takeshita. Let's get your prediction on this before I get mine.
Oh, don't do that. That's why I know it's going to feel. Oh, man. All right. So, famously, if it's a triple threat match, you always have to think that this is made, obviously, to not make the champion look weak if he's to drop the belt. A lot of things going on with Ospreay right now. A lot of stuff going on with Don Callis and the family. A lot of stuff going on. Guys, I think this is where we see Ricochet touch some AEW gold, AEW in walking away with the international title. I think it's good for Ricochet. He's had gold before in WWE. He knows how to run as a champion, how to get over as a champion. But I think that's why it's a triple threat now. I think Ricochet ends up getting the win here. With a caveat, there will be interference on either, again, like I said, whether it's someone that he knows trying to help him, or it's nefarious, someone from the group like getting involved as well. But I think at the end of the day, Ricochet gets the 1, 2, 3, and he's your new AEW International Champion.
Interesting. I went a different way on this one. I'm gonna go with Takeshita.
Okay.
Actually, in this match, I think Don Callis is gonna make a big play. Is gonna be a big factor in this match. The fact that they just brought in Lance Archer also could potentially be a big factor in this match. But I am going for, not that I want to, because I prefer Ricochet and Ospreay more, but I'm thinking Takeshita might take the gold this time.
That's not a bad prediction.
Because I heard that he's getting a big push. So what better way to start his big push than to put the belt on him?
No, I agree. That's awesome. Why not, right? Start as a champion and go from there.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. I like it.
Then we got the Private Party versus the Young Bucks. As much as I hate to say it, I think the Young Bucks retain. That's just what they do.
Sadly, right? Every time every time we do these, we sit here and go, "Fucking Young Bucks!" Like just hang our head, like, yeah, Young Bucks won. I feel like
I love the Young Bucks, but come on, drop the titles already.
That's so. I think I do this every time we do these prediction shows with you and me, or whoever else I do this with. I think Private Party wins them. I don't know. I just maybe if I keep betting against the Young Bucks, that's always my one wild prediction. Because I feel like the one time I'm like, you know what, the Young Bucks sold me. You know, they're just gonna because like you just said, they always win. They always win. And then the one time go, Private Party actually won. It could actually make sense with them winning because it's almost that story of being there so long, and they keep talking about. That's kind of a key for me. Even in WWE, they do it a lot too. When you start talking about the team or the wrestler starts talking about the tenure of not having gold and being there so long and fighting for the chance, getting into this opportunity. They're bringing that up a lot on the Private Party side. How long they've been there. They've been waiting for this. They've been scratching and clawing. Maybe this is the one that drops it. Is it a long-term title run? Probably not, because then Young Bucks go wild and figure out to get it back at probably Full Gear or something like that. Or maybe they finally drop it in lieu of maybe something happening with the Mox faction and you're going to need Young Bucks to link up with whoever else and all that good stuff. But I'm going to go Private Party. That's my wild prediction of the night. Private Party.
I debated that.
Huh?
I really did sit there and debate it. I really did.
Me too. I went, man, maybe. But they keep talking about how long it's been. We've been here since, and I'm like, you know what? I think this is the time. I think they give it to them. This makes sense. Let's go.
Yeah. Jay White versus Hangman Page.
Oh, let's go.
This is going to be a great match. There's going to be violence. There's going to be mayhem. This is going to be a fantastic match. I'm taking Jay White in this match. And the reasoning behind that is because they've got Hangman on this trajectory of losing. He keeps losing. Except for he did beat Swerve.
Yeah.
Didn't he? He did beat Swerve. But he's been losing these big matches other than beating Swerve. So I'm going to go with Jay White on this one.
All right. So I also have Jay White, but not so much for what you're saying, but they are announcing Swerve Strickland to make his return at WrestleDream. And what better place to make a return would be during Hangman Page's match. Their distraction coming down the ring, just like he did in his match against Bryan Danielson when it was for the AEW Championship and cost him that match. Swerve's going to return the favor, interrupt during Hangman's match, and help Jay get the 1, 2, 3.
That's a very good point. That very well may happen. Mariah May versus Willow Nightingale. I'm going with Mariah May.
Yeah, me too. As much as I would love to see Willow win it, man, I would love to see it. It's just
hasn't been on Mariah long enough.
Yeah, it's the same thing over on WWE side with Gunther and having the World Championship. He's built up in such a way where he needs to have a long reign with that belt. They built up Mariah so much with Tony, and just she can't have a little run. It has to be lengthy, at least for a couple more months. But I think it's going to be a great match. Willow never disappoints. Neither does Mariah May. I think she's underrated as well as far as wrestling wise too. But I think that's going to be a great match as far as in the women's division. But yeah, I got Mariah May walking away. Still AEW Women's Champion.
Now, do we see the return of Tony?
Oh, don't do that, because then, man, maybe Willow wins. Oh, wait a minute. Could be.
Yeah.
I feel like if you're going to do a return like that, it's got to cost the other person something. Just like I said, like Hangman coming out on Swerve, now Swerve coming out on Hangman. I feel like it's just got to help the rivalry. How funny would that be? That's a great point. I didn't even think of that. Does she come back and imagine Willow wins goes over with that? Ooh.
Her and Mina Shakira, I think that's her name, Shikawa, have been buddy in Japan.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The last couple of weeks. Because that's where Tony's been in Stardom.
Mm-hmm.
So, do we see them return?
Ooh.
And cost Mariah the match, perhaps? I mean, I still have Mariah winning, but what if?
Or at least after the match, maybe. Kind of just beating the hell out of it. Yeah. Finally hitting her with the shoe. Finally doing it. Couldn't do it in the
Getting her with the shoe.
Yep. Yep. Watch out for the shoe.
Watch out for the shoe.
Love it. Love it.
I love it. Oh, Tony Storm is fucking great.
Agreed.
We got Jericho versus Mark Briscoe.
Oh, man. This is tough for me, man.
I think Chris Jericho takes it.
See, I can't do it, man. Like, I gotta take Briscoe. I can't bet against Briscoe, man. I don't know. I think once you start dragging his brother into the mud, I don't know if you really let Mark take that L in defending his brother's name. I don't know. That's kind of like, the more I think about it, I'm like, there's no way. Like, because then Jericho would be like, I was right. You can't beat me. And I'm like, oh no, they can't do that. No. So I don't know. I got Mark going over here. It's going to be an amazing match. I mean, Jericho can only go so much anymore. I mean, you can see like the spots are getting a little less and less,
chunky.
Little less. I didn't want to say it, but okay. I mean,
no, not he's chunky. The moves are chunky.
But it's old. It's old man chunky. Like, it's like he can go to the gym 5 days a week. You can't fight time. Like, gravity's gonna take effect. Doesn't matter what you do. So it's like you can only do so much. Look at Flair. Flair works out and he's still droopy everywhere. There's only so much you can do. But I think Mark wins here. Probably some wild spot. The ref gets knocked out and does something nuts and gets some payback on Jericho. So I got Mark Briscoe. So
okay,
yeah, he retains. We're keeping Y2J the Ocho.
Yeah, I just think he might be the Nueve. Oh, there's a hater in the chat.
Ooh, I love haters. Where you at? Where we at?
You guys thinking about wrestling all day, every day. Don't do something fun. Your whole life revolves around wrestling. Really sad. And here they are watching.
But you're watching our podcast. You know what's cool, man? I woke up with my kids this morning, hung out with them, went and worked my 9-hour job because I'm a general manager at a restaurant. I come in here and spend a couple hours after I tuck my kids in bed and kiss my wife goodnight. So, hey, listen, my hobby's talking on this microphone and yours is on here being a troll while watching our podcast. More power to you, brother.
Right? Thanks for the view.
Yeah, appreciate you, man. Make sure you like and subscribe both our channels, man. Keep watching us talk about wrestling. Get out of here.
Idiots.
That's cute. Go to bed.
Oh, they're so funny. Got school tomorrow. Yeah. Mommy's basement's missing you. Go right back.
Yeah, go have some more Cheeto dust around your belly button. Get out of here. Go to bed.
Lint and Cheeto dust.
Get out of here, bro. Seriously. This guy's on his couch so much he gets up. It's like you could, like a cop, you can draw a chalk line on like a dead body, man. Come on, man. Get off the computer.
Right?
Go touch some grass.
Get off. Go out there. Do some life.
There you go.
All right. Main event. Main event time. John Moxley versus Bryan Danielson. Oh, did I skip one?
Atlas Jr. taking on Brian Cage for the Ring of Honor World TV title.
Oh, I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Atlas Jr. is your incoming champion taking on Brian Cage. I think again, I don't know why they're using the Ring of Honor belts. I don't know. I think it's kind of a lost cause unless they're bringing the brand back. But Brian Cage, that man's a soldier. He goes out there week after week. A lot of dark matches, a lot of stuff you don't see. I think Brian Cage takes the belt. I think Brian Cage, they make him a champion again. Hopefully, 2025, you see this man get some more play on TV. He's a physical specimen. Yeah, I mean, he's a physical specimen, and he can also wrestle too. Like, he's not just a strong, meathead. He can go, he can wrestle off the top rope. He does cool stuff. So, but yeah, I got him winning the belt. So it's a 0-hour match. But I didn't want to forget. I didn't want to not talk about it.
Oh, I didn't know we had that one. That one's not on my list, so I'm glad you brought that one up.
No worries. No worries.
So now we've got the main event: Jon Moxley versus Daniel Bryanson. Or Bryan Danielson. Why do I have Daniel Bryanson?
Wow.
Bryan Danielson.
These guys go from company to company, man. I still say Daniel Bryan, man. It's nuts.
Oh, funny. I am going to go with the unpopular opinion here, and I'm going to say that Jon Moxley takes the belt. I don't think that he would have taken Darby's spot if there wasn't meaning for it. I think Bryan is going to have his last match in his hometown of Seattle. Or Spokane, where are they? Tacoma? Wherever they're having the pay-per-view. Tacoma,
yeah. No, I just I everything you just said is exactly why I also have Jon Moxley going away and winning this belt. I think it's obviously it's part of this plan, it's part of the storyline. It seems a little rushed, and I can't be the only one that thinks that. But again, it's not a secret of where they're having it, why it's being held there. You and me talked about this before. The next surgery needs to happen sooner than later. Obviously, he was able to have this one more run, which was amazing for Birdie to be a part of it, for Bree to be a part of it. Kids coming in the ring. But I think Saturday we see the last match of Daniel Bryan. Bryan Danielson's career. Bryan Danielson's career. I really hope, just for his sake, I think he needs to hang it up. I think this is the second neck surgery. He's done it all. I've said it before. He's the GOAT. There's nothing more that this man can. He's done it in WWE, Indies, Ring of Honor, now AEW. There's nothing he hasn't done. And I think there's no shame in if that's his last match and he passes it off to Mox. Obviously, in the back, that's going to be great for the two of those guys being great friends. But obviously, doing it in your hometown is going to be amazing for him. And if there's a dry eye in the house, you don't have a heart, because watching this guy go out is going to be amazing.
Yeah, and watching him go out for a second time too. We did forget. Thank you, Isaiah. We did forget Darby Allin versus Brody King, but still on Moxley versus Danielson. But I think there's a reason why they did what they did. There's a reason why they rushed the storyline. There's a reason why Jon Moxley took the title shot from Darby Allin.
Yep.
And I think it's to get the victory. To go out in your hometown in front of your kids, in front of your family, in front of your wife. I just think it could be Daniel Bryanson's swan song. And like I predicted on a couple shows ago, maybe there's something going on with Bryan Danielson's neck and he has to have surgery sooner rather than later.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. I agree with that. Here's the big question, though. So Mox wins the belt, okay? So let's say it is what it is. Do we see Shane McMahon, or does, in typical Tony Khan fashion, do we have a tease for a major announcement or Mox, some kind of announcement on that Wednesday, kind of to build up and have that big pop up on the TV show after the pay-per-view?
If you're gonna bring in Shane, you got to bring him in on a pay-per-view.
That's what I'm saying. He's got to come in at the end. He's got to. Or at least, he's in the ring. And then something like where what I would like to see, honestly, what I really want to see, because I don't know what they're doing, but I've talked about this. If they do it right, Shane's watched his dad do it. They've done this stuff with WCW and WWE. I want him music to play, whatever version of Here Comes the Money plays. He walks to the ring. Mox hands him the AEW belt, and Shane puts it over his shoulder and walks out of the ring. And now you're like, wait a minute. What? Wait a minute. What? So Mox won it for Shane, and there you go. And now we're tuning in Wednesday. Here we go. Let's hit the road. Now we're off to the races. And they might. If Shane O'Mac pops, I'm going to say it right now. This is on tape. Quote me. If Shane O'Mac comes out on Saturday and that kind of thing happens, I think AEW hits 1 million viewers on Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's definitely going to be a ratings booster. That's for sure.
I think they finally touched that 1 million.
It'll be interesting. There's been so many correlations with Shane McMahon and AEW.
Mm-hmm. The pictures
With the
with the Young Bucks.
pictures,
Yep.
the everything, with the Young Bucks, with Tony, with this, with that. I just think
there's a lot of WWE
setup.
guys. Yeah. And there's a lot of WWE guys coming in, like, Bobby Lashley, MVP, like these guys, I'm sure these guys reach out. They know, Shane, all right, there's some part of WWE creative coming here. A lot of people, they may not like VKM, but they like Shane. So maybe they're coming down. They see what's going on. They see a good future down the road, especially with Shane at the helm, obviously helping TK. But yeah, no, I think, I'm telling you, man, I've said it for weeks now. If they do this right and Tony rides this train the right way, man, big things 2025 AEW. I'm telling you.
Absolutely. Totally agree with that. Do want to go back to the match we shaded over at least. Darby Allin versus Brody King. I'm looking forward to this match. Like I said, it's going to be a David versus Goliath type match. The big guy versus the small guy. Going to be fast paced from Darby. And Brody can go. I mean, that guy can go. Yeah. He's fantastic. And he
big dude.
Woo! For a big dude, he can move.
Yeah.
So I do think Darby Allin takes the match. But I think it's going to be a fantastic match. Now the question is, where does this hold with House of Black? Like what's going on with House of Black? Because Brody came out yesterday and he was normal. He was normal Brody. He wasn't House of Black Brody.
Yeah. I don't know, man. I mean, it depends on what dirt sheet you read. Alistair's not happy. He wanted out, and he's got a couple more years left. And according to them, he's just biding his time, which sucks, man. Because House of Black was probably the one thing that they dropped the ball on in the Fed, and like it was gold. And I don't know what happened at what point, who dropped the ball. And his buddy is amazing. Alistair is great, and so isn't Brody. And then this faction
was phenomenal.
Just the last time I think that they were going to be in an awesome, phenomenal match was the last time I can actually think of Alistair doing something where I'm like, wow, was when Cody was putting his boot in the ring. Back when this is how far back we're going, and then Alistair appeared and kicked him in the head. And that was like that was going to be a banger of a rivalry. Obviously, didn't get really much farther into it, but that's the last time I can think of something. I don't know, and I don't know if they dropped. They were like, we don't know what else to do. But these guys are not featured whatsoever. They had the trios belts for a little bit, which was awesome. But it's like Alistair's a go talent. Like I don't care where he goes, he can go to TNA and be he's a main eventer. And Buddy is phenomenal. Like an awesome talent.
Sure.
Looks good, great he's good on the mic too. Like it's just I don't know what happened with this faction. I don't know if they're just kind of taking select guys and using them and plugging them. Again, it's one of those things. What do we do with Darby after this match? Darby, I feel like got like we talked about a little while ago. I feel like Darby got pulled out of that. Not right now. We're not going to give you the AEW title. Here, I have an open challenge. So what happens with Darby? And whoever wins, Brody. Where does Brody go? Like back to the group? What is the group? You know what I mean? There's a lot of questions with those two, and I just feel like the group they fumbled it a little bit. They fumbled House of Black a little bit because I think it was awesome. It was over. The entrance was phenomenal. The headgear, the whole nine, man. Yeah, dude. I was very Wyatt 6-ish, if you will.
Intrigued.
Like yes. And they were mysterious, man. I loved it. The lights go out. He's in the middle of the ring. It was cool. I love Alistair. I loved him ever since he was WWE. Even NXT to go that far. How much I liked it. And Brody's awesome. And I've always been a Buddy fan as well. So I don't know. It sucks to see it happen, but hopefully maybe there's a rejuvenation somewhere down the road. But as far as I know, Black's kind of just counting his days on the calendar to go back to WWE, where his phenomenal wife is still employed. Zelina Vega.
They're such a cute couple.
Oh God, I love her. She's amazing. He's great too. But they're so on Instagram. It's disgusting how cute they are. It's disgusting.
They're such a cute couple because she's so tiny and he's so large.
No, for real. They do a picture. And it's just like this. Like, oh, like, dude,
she's like way down here and he's way up here.
I love it. But but they're stinking cute. But I did want to bring up something too. I'm just looking at the comments too. Kicking out two brought up a good call. Sami Callihan, good call. That I don't think he's someone's going to come out before shit, but I think he's someone to do bring into the group. Him and Mox have a very, very long history together. I would love to see Sammy get back with Mox in that capacity, somewhere in that group in AEW, in whatever group they form. I think that'd be really cool to see.
Yeah, that would be a good addition.
Yeah.
Definitely a good addition. I noticed the trios titles aren't on the card at all.
No, they're not.
Which, why do we still have them?
But that too, that's an influx. Like if you have infighting in the group, what do we do? What are we doing? Like what?
Right, like why put the belts on them and then break them up?
Does Yuta do they have a 6-man tag and Yuta walk out then like cost them the match? Or, you know what I mean? Something weird like that, some wild stuff. I don't know, man. Like there's just those are the things where I look and go, who booked that? That's right. I get what you're doing, but what about the belts? Like you're holding the belts hostage. Give them to somebody else. You know what I mean? Like while you're doing them in a feud. So
yeah. The trios titles were a good idea at the time, but I think since they can't even really push the tag team division, they shouldn't have the trios title.
Yeah, 2-on-2, you can't even look at 3-on-3. So I agree. It's a good idea though. I do like that. I did like when Bang Bang and Gang had them. That was good. I like them. And then when the Acclaim had them too. Yeah, that was good too. With Gunn, that was cool stuff.
The Acclaimed are just. I love the Acclaimed.
I love them.
Everybody loves the Acclaimed.
Everybody. So.
All right. Well, that is what we got for you guys tonight. We went over AEW Dynamite, our predictions for WrestleDream. WrestleDream is on Saturday. I am going to be doing a WrestleDream show on Tuesday to go over the results, talk about everything before Dynamite, and see where we go from there. So it'll be Tuesday night. Not sure what time yet, but we'll get that figured out. I'll get that posted out there, let you guys know. Otherwise, I will be back on Thursday nights to do my AEW show. You can find me on X at Princess Skywalker 10 or on YouTube at the Lowdown with Princess Skywalker. John, go ahead and plug yourself.
Hey, you can find me on X, on YouTube, at Chairshot Sports, also on Instagram, Facebook, and on Twitch at the same handle. If you're watching this on YouTube, which you probably are, make sure you shoot us a follow, shoot us a like, and definitely subscribe for amazing wrestling and sports content.
Absolutely. We've got lots of things coming in the future. More things to announce coming forward. I know I say that every week, but just got to keep you guys interested. Let you guys know that there are big things coming. Working on big things. Just take some time. So thank you for tuning in tonight. We had over 300 views, which is absolutely phenomenal. So thank you guys for tuning in tonight, and thank you for your love and support.
We wouldn't be possible without you either. So appreciate it.
Hell yeah! Thank you for coming in,
baby.
Oh, I look like Willow. Willow's gorgeous.
You do have Willow vibes.
Says one more thing, Skywalker Jess. Why you look like Willow? Willow's gorgeous. I'm all for that.
That was some kind of backhand compliment, bro. You can't even troll right, homie. I'm gonna insult you, then I'm gonna hit on you. That's great. Get out of here, bro.
Get out of here with your shit.
Go back and play some 2K. Get out of here.
Oh Jesus. All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in to the Lowdown with Princess Skywalker tonight. Thank you, John Anthony. Once again, you're a fantastic co-host. And everybody have a fantastic evening. Bye.